I believe extraterrestrial aliens do exist, and some of them are actually fully human, while others are either human-animal hybrids or human-animal chimeras. First, let me talk about fully human aliens and how they came to reside on another planet besides Earth. I believe this category is the lost offsprings of Cain. Many who read the Bible assume the descendants of Cain died during the Great Flood in Noah's time. However, if one compares the list of Cain's descendants in the Bible with the descendants of Seth, the third son of Adam, one can see that the list of Cain's descendants ended before the time of Noah. Genesis chapter 4, verses 17 to 22. Cain made love to his wife, and she became pregnant and gave birth to Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehujael, and Mehujael was the father of Methushael, and Methushael was the father of Lamech. Lamech married two women, one named Ada and the other Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal. He was the father of those who lived in tents and raised livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all who play stringed instruments and pipes. Zillah also had a son, Tubal-Cain, who forged all kinds of tools out of bronze and iron. Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. Counting from Cain up to the grandchildren of Lamech, the children of Jabal and Jubal, we get 8 generations. Now compare this with the descendants of Seth, the third son of Adam. Genesis chapter 5, verses 3 to 29. When Adam had lived 130 years, he had a son in his own likeness, in his own image, and he named him Seth. When Seth had lived 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. When Enosh had lived 90 years, he became the father of Canaan. When Canaan had lived 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. When Mahalalel had lived 65 years, he became the father of Jared. When Jared had lived 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. When Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methushael. After he became the father of Methushael, Enoch walked faithfully with God 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked faithfully with God, then he was no more, because God took him away. When Methuselah had lived 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. When Lamech had lived 182 years, he had a son, he named him Noah. Counting from Seth, the younger brother of Cain, up to Noah, we get 9 generations, while counting from Seth up to Lamech, we get only 8 generations, which is the same number of generations for Cain and his descendants until they mysteriously disappeared before the time of Noah. It is very clear that Cain's offsprings did not die from the great flood during Noah's time, but were taken away during the time of Lamech, which was also when Enoch was taken away by God. Enoch was taken away 113 years after Methuselah's son Lamech was born, and 69 years before Noah was born. I believe Cain's descendants were taken to a place called Tartarus, where also the fallen angels were taken who married human women and fathered the Nephilims mentioned in Genesis chapter 6, verses 1 to 7. Tartarus occurs in the Septuagint translation of Job into Koine Greek, chapter 40, verse 20, and chapter 41, verse 24, and in Hellenistic Jewish literature from the Greek text of the Book of Enoch, dated to 400 to 200 BC. This states that God placed the archangel Uriel in charge of the world and of Tartarus, chapter 20, verse 2. Tartarus is generally understood to be the place where 200 fallen watchers, angels, are imprisoned. Reference to the watchers of the book of Enoch is also observed in Jude chapter 1 verse 6, where scripture describes angels being bound by chains under everlasting darkness, and 2 Peter chapter 2 verse 4, which further describes fallen angels committed to chains in Tartarus. A human-animal hybrid is an organism that incorporates elements from both humans and non-human animals. Technically, in a human-animal hybrid, each cell has both human and non-human genetic material. It is in contrast to an individual where some cells are human and some are derived from a different organism called a human-animal chimera. A humanized mouse is a mouse carrying functioning human genes, cells, tissues, and/or organs. Humanized mice are commonly used as small animal models in biological and medical research for human therapeutics. The first stable human-animal chimeras to actually exist were first created by Shanghai Second Medical University scientists in 2003, the result of having fused human cells with rabbit eggs. In 2017, a human pig chimera was reported to have been created. In 2021, a human monkey chimera was created. Just as humans were successful in creating these human-animal hybrids or chimeras, I believe the descendants of Cain living in Tartarus were even more advanced in this technology and created their own version of mutant animal humanoids. And this explains why reptilian humanoids appear in folklore, religion, and conspiracy theories. According to the book of Enoch, the women who married the fallen angels and bore Nephilim children with them became sirens. The sirens of 3rd century Greek mythology were described as part woman and part bird.